Did you grow up in a religious family?
Yeah.
A very Catholic religious family?
Church, yeah. We were so bored in church, that's where we learned sign language, my sister and I.
Nice.
Hello and welcome to the first episode of Swearing in Sign Language with Stephen and Alex. Hey Stephen and Alex, how do you say the word bullshit?
Boredom? Shit.
This has been an episode of Swearing in Sign Language. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, it was pushed on us, and it didn't fit. It didn't fit for any of us kids.
Okay.
And when I was a teenager, that's when I got introduced to the Metaphysical Center Creative Guidelines.
That's what I wanted to talk about. Yeah. How did you come to this?
Well, I always had a lot of unanswered questions with religion. Even at church, I'm just like, man, this is pretty...
Doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's big jumps and there's big assumptions and I can hold on to the core tenets of religion, do no harm, all those sort of things.
Yeah.
But it just wasn't a literal drive for me through the words. Those questions bounced around in me a lot, and I was really interested in other topics, other interests I had. I was a vivid dreamer, things like this, and I think just as high school teenage curiosity, I wanted to know about auras and chakras and all that catchy stuff. Yeah.
I edited videos on you talking about it a little bit.
And it's like, astral projection, I can go anywhere? Sign me up. And I happened to be in proximity to, well, I didn't happen to be, I was in proximity to Creative Guidelines. And then I was introduced to all this vocabulary that I had no idea existed. It was fantastic. I wasn't a good student, I was 16. I was barely a good student in high school. I mean,
you weren't a good student to Creative Guidelines, is what you're saying?
No, because in my mind, I didn't really do the homework.
And homework was?
Well, homework would be, okay, well, meditate 30 minutes every day and, and read this book and think about these questions, ponder this, and I would kind of get to it if I could, but when I was there in the rooms with everybody, I was kind of around that vibe, and I think I was kind of drinking it up. I did the homework. I mean, I got notebooks of notes, but I didn't fall into it. I was the youngest one there. The others were my contemporary age now. They were grandparents. They were at a place where they had all these other experiences in life. They had family, they had marriages, they had divorces, they had deaths, they had births. They had a lot of touch points of shit's happened.
Yeah.
And at 16, I'm like, I just wanted to drive a car, go on a date.
Yeah, no, I get that.
So I wasn't ready for these big issues, but I held it with me for all these years.
Okay, and throughout the years, you've developed more interest into it. You probably...
Well, it's not like I didn't do anything. I mean, I kept interested in the vocabulary. And what I mean by vocabulary is I read books, I had conversations. I mean, I was open to that sort of sphere of dialogue. And the principles of metaphysics and this idea that I wasn't alone, I had teachers and guides, that there were multi-dimensions, that always shaped my belief system and the way I did business and the way I treated other people. So those were where I got my version of 10 commandments.
Yeah.
Except it was 1,000, and they weren't commandments, they were gentle requests. Oh, try this. Look at it this way.
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
I carried those philosophies forward, and they stayed with me every day. Now, I just decided to have the courage to do something.
Share with the world.
Yeah.
Do you see yourself in me in a way? Because I feel I also grew up in a religious family, a Russian Orthodox Christian. I was forced to go to church, I never really, I don't want to say I didn't take it seriously, but it didn't interest me. I was woken up on a Sunday morning at 5:30 a.m. when it's my weekend, I'm trying to sleep. I was dragged to the church that was an hour away. We had to sit in a cold bus, and then Russian Orthodox Church, you have to stand the entire ceremony. Right, the entire service. It was very embarrassing when I was 7 or 8 and I was really tired, and my uncle was like, you can stand on your knees. And it's kind of embarrassing. I'm in the front because I'm short and I'm standing on my knees, and it's I don't want to do that. I've been still religious. It's still stuck with me, obviously. I believe in God and all this stuff.
I know all the prayers.
Right. Not anymore, I'm forgetting it. But now I'm getting more into what the world is in reality, right? And I think that there is more higher powers and, as you were saying, more dimensions and stuff like that, and I'm interested in how all this works. I want to learn about it. I want to see if I can tap into it in a way, right? And get more comfortable with it and finally set my mind to what do I believe. So that's kind of where I'm at, and that's why I'm very curious about your thoughts, because throughout editing the videos I see stuff and I'm very fascinated by what's done through weekly channeling, right, and age regression videos. I was like, what's going on? Like, how is this all possible?
Well, it's coming at you very fast.
It is coming at me very fast,
because,
and I'm just like, whoa.
Yeah, so, hello Shadow. So you said, do I see myself in you? Yeah, a little bit in this regard. My interest in metaphysics is I was running towards it. Mm-hmm. When we talk about things, you're like, yeah, but, and I'm like, I'm not here to convince you, man. So no, I hear it as curiosity. You know, Don was always very spoon feeding us. Mm-hmm. He's like, you need a good foundation, or else you'll just kind of spin off the rails and get interested in kind of like the contemporary version of being a ghost hunter, right?
Fuck this.
Mm-hmm. Have no idea, just interested in spiritual magic and all this other stuff. What you're looking at in a consolidated way, even if you think about it this way, weekly channeling was once a week.
Oh.
And you could edit 4 of those in 4 hours.
Yeah.
So you are kind of your subconscious, not your conscious mind, because you're editing, but it's getting in there faster than it did me, man. I didn't even have a tape player, right? So in that regard, you are in a sense saturated with it. If it wasn't okay with you, I wouldn't have you do that. Mm-hmm. Like the moment it's not okay with you, I'll be like, well, Pasha, do this other project. But you're rather durable.
I adjust a lot to things around me.
Well, I think you're seeing a lot of different points on the map at the same time. Yes. And sometimes those points, for me, when I was a teenager, it was like this. They were steps. Mm-hmm. You're seeing, it's like, oh, wait, Wednesday night channeling, oh, the art. Oh, I got this guy Mike who talks about this stuff, and oh, wait a minute, this guy Don who I hear. So you have all these points appearing at the same time, and they're kind of converging on you. So in a way, you got to look around you.
Oh, I mean, yeah.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
So in that regard, you're taking a shower of this.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
But I'm glad that it sparked your curiosity. The age regressions, I hadn't heard either. They're new to both of us.
Really?
Yeah.
Thing is, I don't even listen to the whole thing. One day I will sit down and listen to the whole thing. But when I edit, I'm trying to get as much done so I can put it out for the people, right? So I don't have an hour to sit and watch it.
I know.
I just throw it together as much as I can, as fast as I can, put it out there. But so far from what I've heard is like, I have questions about it.
You're on the other side, you're in the spirit world, and I'd like to tell me what you're experiencing now.
I am being shown by some beautiful beings of light I'm being shown my lifetime that I've just come from.